Join us this week as we finally get a break from the relentless wind, giving us a chance to explore some of the unique anchorages and sample some wild seafood in and around Dirk Hartog Island in Shark Bay.
What you got there?
Isn't he pretty? Little Rankin cod.
I had my phone in my pocket because I was sending some messages to my family. I had a spot of reception, and as I was doing the anchor, it fell out of my pocket and into the water.
Welcome to Free Range Sailing. For those of you that are new here, I'm Pascal and this is Troy. For the last 4 years and 180 episodes, we've circumnavigated Australia, culminating with a very demanding year, refitting our 1969 Australian-built Clansman 30 sloop-rigged yacht and sailing her across the Great Australian Bight. Now we've returned to our home state, we're taking the time to explore some of the places we didn't get the chance to see as much of before. Join us each week for more great sailing, fishing and adventure as we cruise the West Australian coast. Consistent southerly wind patterns meant that when we left the refuge of Monkey Mire, we could have a wonderfully relaxing downwind sail to our next anchorage. This was a stark contrast after more than 150 nautical miles sailing to weather down the West Australian coast, and we were appreciating the break from hard sailing.
What speed we got?
6.7. Pretty relaxing.
How sailing should be. Well, we're enjoying a nice change. So you've been with us for the, like that beat to weather that we've been enjoying for, it seemed like a month. But now we're going to go join our friends and we have a nice little 15-mile downhill run. We have to sail 15 miles downwind, but then of course we do have to turn around and we have to come into the wind for about 3 miles. So it's not all smooth sailing, but I don't think it'll be that bad. But yeah, we had a little bit of a holiday there, and now the holiday continues, but at 6.5 knots. So it's great.
It was a welcome relief to have made it to Shark Bay and to find reasonably protected anchorages and new places to explore only a day's sail away. It had not been long since we'd had to sail several days to find a safe anchorage to sit out an overnight 40-knot blow on Ningaloo Reef. And with a few days of calmer weather before the next big forecasted blow, we were particularly excited to explore more of the remote Dirk Hartog Island and take some time to relax in its shallow turquoise waters. This island gets its namesake from the Dutch captain Dirk Hartog, who landed here in 1616, leaving a plaque at Cape Inscription. In 1697, Willem de Vlanging found Hartog's plate and replaced it with a pewter plaque with a copy of Hartog's inscription. In 1827, Louis de Freycinet took the pewter plaque back to France, with the French government returning it back to Australia in 1947. The original Hartog plate is in the Rijksmuseum in the Netherlands.
It's the top of the tide. Admittedly, we don't get very much tide at the moment because it's neaps. I think there's only about 40 or 50 centimetres in the tide, but it's the top of the tide now, and we're going to attempt to go into a bit of a lagoon area. We know there's a deep channel. I'm going to see if we can figure it out, see if we can find the deep channel. Well, Troy's got Google Earth we've got just enough internet to pick up Google Earth satellite images, so we're going to see if we can follow the deeper channel and those on that satellite imagery and see if we can get in here. It's not really charted and it's not really written about in the cruising guides, but we did speak to some friends and they've done it before, so hoping it'll work out for us even though it's neap tides at the moment. They're so pretty.
On our search for the deep channel into the lagoon, it was beautiful to see these 3 eagle rays dancing in the shallows.
So we're just coming up to what now looks like a deep channel. I'm not sure if it's going to take us all the way in, but we can have a good look and we might be able to just anchor in this channel if we can't go all the way into the lagoon. This is nice and deep now. We haven't made it all the way into the lagoon, but we're in a nice deep hole on the edge and it's still really nice and protected. I had my phone in my pocket because I was sending some messages to my family. I had a spot of reception, and as I was doing the anchor it fell out of my pocket and into the water, so I'm going to have to get in and try and find it with my mask, but it's not going to be functioning anymore, but hopefully we can retrieve the cards from it and haven't lost all that stuff. Yeah, we've got our mussels here. They're nice, they're good size. We're just steaming them in pressure cooker. Not on pressure, I've taken the pressure valve off it. So we're just steaming them in this. Bit of scrubbing once we brought them on board, because they're sort of buried in the mud against the weed. Yeah, and we're just gonna have to remove the beard off some of them. And some of them have little crab on them as well.
Are you happy with the product of your diving?
Yeah, I am, yep. I got some razor clam, but they're actually like really fiddly and you only can eat the abductor muscle from them, or we only like to eat that bit, and so they actually you don't get that much meat from them, whereas these mussels, like, they're pretty much full and you can eat the whole thing apart from the beard. You know the little crab I was talking about, someone's just like kind of hidden in the meat. You don't want anyone to eat on that, they'll be a bit crunchy. We haven't paid attention before and we've put mussels into our food and it's been crunchy. It's because we've had that little bit of extra protein hit with the crab. I was convinced that it was all over for this phone. I pulled it out of the water. I'd been in the water I think for about half an hour because we put the anchor down. It fell out of my pocket as I was doing the anchor. I was like, well, that's it. It's toast. I'm never going to get it back. I'll just finish securing the anchor and putting things away. I'll get my dive gear on and I'll recover the phone to get the SIM cards out of it. So yeah, and it took me quite a while to find the phone. Like I did like cross sections of where we put the anchor down, and it took me quite a while to find it. I eventually found it, but I think it was in the water for 20 to 30 minutes. Brought it back, had it sitting covered in salt water on the deck while I looked for some shellfish. And then thought when we came back, oh, maybe I'll put it in fresh water, like just in case. I'll just give it a freshwater rinse for half an hour. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll put it in rice and maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe it'll be fine. And then I just never thought of checking it to see if it was actually still working. And I pressed the button and it's still working. So I dropped it about 5 hours ago at midday.
So it's been sitting on the seabed
for half an hour, and then it was sitting for about 20 minutes, like covered in salt in the sun. and then I put it in fresh water for like 2 hours, and then I just put it here, and then I put it in the sun to dry because I was like, I don't want any water in it. And then I've had it sitting here for an hour, and I didn't even think to like press the button and see if it still worked, and it still works. So this is an LG G6 phone. We're not affiliated with LG, but it must be a waterproof phone.
Evidently.
Previously I had a Samsung phone, and it was supposed to be waterproof, and I dropped it in the water for
3 seconds.
30 seconds. I basically dropped it in the water, I saw it, and I dived off the boat, grabbed it and brought it back on board, and it never came back. Yeah, I just pulled out the slot that holds the SD cards. The SIM cards. I don't have an SD card in here at the moment. And like a little drip of water came out, but I think that might have been like between the rubber seal and the metal where you pull it out. There's actually no water inside there, so maybe it's just like fully sealed and the water doesn't get in. Maybe the microphones doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure. We'll have to try it out in a few days. We'll get back to you in a few days. But
I
the
think
screen's
you'll find the
fine.
microphone will be fine, because why wouldn't it just be a little waterproof membrane that vibrates?
Yeah. Yep. Maybe it will have issues charging. I don't know. We'll turn it off and we'll plug it in and see if it charges in a few days' time.
I like your cautious optimism.
Sounds
like you've been a sailor for a while.
I don't know.
It looks like it's working.
If
but
salt
you never
water
know.
got in, like, it might still be functioning now, but it might corrode later. So,
Right
you
on.
know. But I
I
don't
think it got in, because it would fry those circuits.
Yeah, that's true. And I did put it in fresh water after it sat in the sun for a while.
I think you done good.
So let's turn the power off on this thing for a little while. LG, life's good.
It's difficult to show on video just how vast and arid a lot of the West Australian mainland and outlying islands are. The distances are large and protected anchorages scarce. In the late 1800s, this spot was the site of a small camp for Chinese pearl fishermen. In the 1850s, the island's most prominent industries were guano mining and pearling. In 1869, a pastoral lease was granted for the island, and there were sheep grazing here right up until the 1990s. It is now an ecotourism and research destination. Anchored at this unique location that we dubbed Halo Reef, and with a subtle waft of bird poop coming from the cormorants nesting on the island nearby, we had the impression that this spot was particularly fishy. So, with the sun setting, Troy decided to try his luck for a feed. Shark Bay is renowned for its pink snapper or pinky fishery. Despite their name, pink snapper actually belong to the sea bream family. The pink snapper stock found in the 3 inner gulfs of Shark Bay are each their own separate population. They do not interbreed with each other or with the wider ranging Indian Ocean population. This makes them particularly vulnerable to overfishing, so special rules regarding minimum size and bag limits apply. The shallow waters of Shark Bay are an important nursery and hunting ground for these fish, and it is not uncommon for anglers to land good-sized adults in these waters. The legal minimum size for pink snapper in Shark Bay is 500mm. Unfortunately, all the pinkies we brought on board that evening were undersized, so we released them and hoped we'd have better luck with our fishing the following day. Well, good morning.
Sorry about the noise, Pesky.
Just jumped out of bed.
I knew that I had to get the morning fish. I didn't even have a chance to put pants on. It's a nice little snapper.
What Troy is holding up here is a black snapper or grass emperor. Minimum size for these fish is 320mm, so this one was staying on board for lunch.
So we've been trying to go for pinkies, but it's lots of little ones.
Yeah,
Shark Bay, the legal size.
the pink snappers have been too small, so we stopped fishing for them.
Well, sometimes you get them without unintentionally, but
Yeah, We were fishing over there in the sand, but now that the wind has swung, we're like sort of over the reef, so we've got a better chance of getting these guys.
Seems like all the good action happens when you're in your jocks, eh? What did I say? Fish like it when you're in jocks.
They do.
Hey, it's another one.
Mirror image.
It's fresh. Are you feeling a bit cold?
Hey?
You feeling a bit cold?
No, I'm not.
The mornings here have been reminding me of Tassie.
Huh.
Got that like kind of barren land. Not much trees.
It's
Like the east coast of Tassie, you know.
You'd be in big trouble if you were doing this with a sinker, eh? Because this is just drifting down over the reef.
Yeah.
So if you were going to use a sinker, you'd be done here.
What you got there?
Isn't he pretty? A little rankin cod.
Yep.
The sun getting off him.
Yeah. Oh, I love rankin cod. It's one of my favourites.
They're really good. I think that
It wraps up the fishing effort.
pretty much.
You nearly got bricked by that one.
I did get bricked.
Oh, you did get bricked.
Okay.
You went into his rock.
I twanged it like you didn't see, but I twanged it like a guitar string and then gave him some slack and he took off for his proper hole. And then that was the sort of the end of it, really.
Thanks everyone for watching this week. If you enjoyed the video, thanks also for hitting the like button, as it really helps to get our video recommended to other like-minded people. Our boat is currently up for sale. If you're interested, please check the ad which I've included in the description of the video. Until next time, see ya.